this point, I guess, is that I'm going to take next week off, or this week off, because it's going to be uploaded on, or published on a Monday. So I'm recording this on the 16th. It's going to be published on the 19th. I'm going to take the week from the 18th to the 24th off, and not publish any videos in that time. Also didn't publish anything I'm not going to publish anything on Saturday the 17th either. That was supposed to be when the second recording of Bionicle Heroes DS came out, but I procrastinated getting that to the place where I upload things because I can't do it at home because my internet's too slow. Well, I can technically, but it takes several days for one video, so it's impractical. I procrastinated till Friday, and then I accidentally didn't get it done. So, being a forgetful person. So that's not going to be up just because of my mistake, purely. So that's really what the announcement is. It's not like I'm going to disappear or anything. It's just that I'm going to do 1 week off, and the reason, and I just have a project I'm working on that essentially has a deadline on October 3rd, which is 2 weekends from when I'm recording this away. After this is published, it's 1 weekend away. It's a Monday, and I'm very behind on that, and essentially I have to do a certain kind of special schedule and scorched earth it. And so I don't want to ever have to boot any of my computers after I get home from work to do anything, including publish YouTube videos, that entire week. Yeah, it's something that, again, I've been procrastinating on and being not diligent about keeping a decent schedule about until now. And now kind of like the poop has hit the fan, and I have to put other things in my life aside in this really extreme way at this point in order to finish it in this, like, maybe not even close, as it's a very long shot thing I'm doing. So, pretty crazy. We'll see what happens. Things tend to work out for me. So now that I've made that little short announcement that, yeah, I know I'm missing a week, and that was all planned, I have this entire World's Hardest Game 3 video to make. So I have to come up with things. So, the big thing in the tech news today was EVGA. The CEO of EVGA decided he was just fed up with NVIDIA. And due to the terms that a board partner for NVIDIA has to agree to in order to be a board partner for NVIDIA, in other words, for NVIDIA to sell their chips to them, is like price limitations on what the board partners can sell, which decreases the kind of products that they can sell and can basically force them to operate on a super tight margin. So EVGA, 80% of the money coming in was from video cards, but then, so like 80% of the revenue. So like there's like expenses, and then there's like, I forgot what they call it, what you sell with the money you cut coming in, and then you subtract those and you get profit, right? So they're getting like, they're selling the transactions, most money was given to them for video cards, actually 80% of it was. But how much of that, but the profit they actually got for video cards was a very small proportion, don't know how much, of their total profit. So it's like 80% of what they were doing, essentially, and none of their profit. And so they decided we're not going to make NVIDIA graphics cards anymore. Well, it's like, okay, that this kind of hit me like a huge load of bricks. The graphics card I have on my computer right now that I'm using to encode this video even is an EVGA graphics card. It's a, what do you call it, the EVGA 3090 FTW3 Ultra or whatever. Not necessarily their most reliable card they made, however mine hasn't failed on me yet. It's one that's famous for at least the early revisions of the board to be kind of sketchy. And it would blow up when you tried to play New World by Amazon on it. Apparently, they have a very good reputation. Maybe compared to other brands, not so much having to do with the reliability of the cards. However, before the before the RTX 30 series, specifically that 3090, they were pretty good on that, but more so that they actually would honor their warranty. So if you did a warranty return for EVGA, they would actually be good at actually giving you a new card. Whereas other companies like Asus, it's a real pain in the butt apparently to do a warranty return on your video card, even though they may actually be slightly more reliable. But anyway, yeah, they're not going to make any NVIDIA video cards. The next video card I have to buy from an unfamiliar brand, which are probably going to be Asus. It's probably going to cost more too, because usually Asus sells their Strix for way more than EVGA sells the FTW3. Although you could buy a TUF from Asus. No more Hydro Copper cards. No more of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, just kind of to follow up on this, I also have a EVGA keyboard and EVGA mouse. The EVGA mouse, I like the functionality of it. I like the lightweightness. I like the low friction. I like how it feels in the hand. I like the features. But I've actually gone through two problems already. The first one was the scroll wheel just straight up broke, and then it RMA'd it. And the second one is the RGB kind of went on the fritz once. And just right now, as I'm talking and recording this video, it went back to normal suddenly. I don't know. But there was like a time period where the RGB went on the fritz. Now, RGB isn't very important, so I didn't RMA it for that. I just kind of kept it because I don't care about RGB, but there's something to note there. I also have an EVGA keyboard, and again, functionally, I like it. I like the feel of the keys. I don't like how loud it is, but you know, not everything's perfect. However, again, it's an aspect of the RGB that has gone on the fritz. It's supposed to be this thing where there's like a time of flight sensor, and when you get close to it, like the keyboard will turn off the lights when you walk away, and then you sit back down in your chair or whatnot. It'll do this effect, and then it will turn the LEDs, the LEDs, whatever, back on. That doesn't work on mine, so mine just kind of stays on continually. Again, I don't care about that, so I haven't tried to RMA it for that or anything. I don't care about RGB, but just something to note, the RGB also went on the fritz on the keyboard too. But as for the actual key feel, yeah, it's fine. Anyway. So the next thing is, yeah, the RTX 40 series is coming out, but there won't be any EVGA cards. There'll be all other board partners cards. I'm not going to buy one until perhaps towards the end of the run where the price plummets in the same way the prices plummet towards the end of the 30 series run. They'll try to grab one. Right now I'm sitting at this 3090, but I don't have a 4K monitor, which is kind of a shame. And the reason why I don't have a 4K monitor, I want to have two monitors. Okay, I could just replace the monitor I have with a 4K monitor, but I don't have anywhere to put my old monitor. I have to put it back in the box, and it would just sit in the box in the garage forever. What I want to do is actually have two monitors on my desk, but I don't have space on my desk to put them. The desk is physically big enough, but there's the computer itself, the tower, is actually, I'd have to lower it to a new kind of table near the floor in order to make it work. And there's this big honkin' printer on my desk which I'm not going to be able to move. That is a big part of the problem. So, yes, I really want a 4K monitor, but it's about $700 approximately for one, and I don't have space on my desk. I have to kind of do some house rearranging and some heavy work to get it to fit. So it's going to take a while until I get that. There's no point in actually, because I haven't been using my graphics cards for the computational physics I've wanted to, I've basically only been playing games with them. There's no point in upgrading to a graphics card more powerful than a 3090 if I don't have a monitor that's like 4K essentially, because the 3090 is a 4K card already. So I won't be taking apart my computer for another couple of years, unless even if I get that 4K monitor, I'm not gonna upgrade the graphics right away, right? Anyway. I'm really having struggle with this across thing. I'm gonna try going up again and go across the top and back down. Because like, my brain gets thrown off by the whole like convergence, where it's not against a wall. Of course, I've been in this room for like episode upon episode already. Like, it's just, I cannot do, this is not my, for some reason I'm really bad at this room. This room isn't really known to be one of the main sticking points of the World's Hardest Game 3 either. Like, there's a room coming up soon, like 2 rooms after this one that's like way more of a sticking point. And then 2 rooms after that one that's also way more of a sticking point. It's a relatively easy room. And I haven't, as far as actually playing graphics intensive games, to actually use a graphics card again, I'm really far behind because I haven't even finished Control yet, and I haven't recorded an episode of that for like months now. I plan on actually finishing it before I go on to the next game. Not really the best game ever, I presume. My opinion of it is kind of low nowadays. I don't know. And like since then, there's been a lot of new graphics-intensive games. For example, like The Quarry by Supermassive. It's supposed to be the same because I don't know anything about it other than it's made by the same people as The Dark Pictures and Until Dawn. And it's supposed to be similar to Until Dawn. And Until Dawn is a very fun game to let's play. And so, as a result, you would think it would also be very fun. But I haven't read any reviews or anything on it, so I don't know if it's actually good. You just have to kind of go with it. Also, Elden Ring came out, but I don't know if that one is going to be like has an online aspect or not. If it's purely local, then that's something I could try. That's something that people really like. Stray is another one that people really like. That's a really good one for like a 4K setup, just because it doesn't have any ray tracing unless you hack it. It does. The developers of Stray actually implemented ray tracing, but the frame rate was so low that they decided to not actually make it accessible without going and altering the settings files. Anyway, people seem to really like Stray as well, so I'd assume I would like it too. So those are some games with really good reviews that came out recently. But I can't really get to those until I finish Control, because I gotta finish what I started, and I'm not even close. And my game backlog is just huge in many other aspects anyway, it's just massive. There's like way too much to get through. Which anybody who's really familiar with video games is like, yeah, I know that feel. I probably talked about this at length, like I probably repeat myself so much. So it's probably a big repetition. So kind of the next thing that happened is, I presume if you've been around the LEGO scene, relatively closely, you've heard of the Fold, and that's because LEGO's most popular theme, I think, I presume, in the most recent few years is Ninjago, and they hired the Fold to record the theme song. And then because they hired the Fold to record the theme song, in order to kind of retain like a sound continuity, the Fold recorded like some 5 songs to kind of be, I don't know, promotional material for the first couple seasons of Ninjago. It was like 2000, 2011, and, or 2010 and 2011. Or 20, I forgot, or 20, I'm like all mixing things up, because, with season 1, I want to stick rebooted on 2013. If I stick rebooted 2013, then put season 2 in 2011, season 1 in 2010, and the pilot's in 2009. So I guess I could say 2009. Anyway, they recorded them to they hired them to record their Weekend Whip, and they made this little EP kind of thing called For the Spinners. These really simple songs like "Born to Be a Ninja," for example. Just like at the 2009, right? And then suddenly, in 2013, LEGO went back and decided to commission from the Fold a whole bunch of more promotional songs for Rebooted. And the Fold's promotional songs for Rebooted are, in my opinion, just my favorite songs from the Fold, just period. They're kind of silly, but they're, quote-unquote, the term is bangers. There's some serious bangers. Like, you know, After the Blackout and Full Digital and Eye of the Storm and so on. And a new remix of the Weekend Whip and all kinds of junk. So, anyway, the Fold, although some people that are just kind of like really casual fans don't know this, like some Bionicle fans, I've heard actually say they think that the Fold was a band that was created specifically to record these Ninjago songs. And they would be wrong. But they just haven't digged into it very much. And this would kind of make sense because that's how Cryo-Shell was formed. Christian Faber reached out to a movie composer. And I actually once remembered his name, but you know me in remembering names. I can't remember any of their names. I remember that the singer is Christine is their first name, and then the last name is like Lorenzen. And one of the names of the guitarist is Casper. I don't remember the name of the movie composer who actually composes everything. They reached out to this Christian Faber reached out to a film composer that he knew and asked him if he could figure out how to create a rock band to make promotional music for Bionicle. And mostly because they somehow fell out, like all insane kids fell out of favor with Christian Faber. Favor with Christian Faber is what I was trying to say, for some reason. And I don't know, they're trying to, like, 2017, they're trying to launch off for the whole rock thing of 2006 or something. And he and this movie composer actually assembled Cryo-Shell off this request, specifically to make Bionicle promotional music. So, now, Cryo-Shell did make their own songs that were not commissioned by LEGO later on, just because they happened to exist. They decided, let's make some music because we feel like it. A lot of it's the same kind of mood and flavor as their Bionicle songs, some of which wouldn't fit at all with that whole Bionicle atmosphere, like feed. But anyway, I mean, it still has, like, maybe atmospherically it's kind of Bionicle-y, but, like, the lyrics wouldn't fit at all. But they started out as a Bionicle thing, right? And eventually they went off and did their own thing. They started off as a Bionicle thing. The Fold did not start off as a Ninjago thing, in case you were confused. The Fold existed for a very long time. But I don't remember the exact dates in which they were formed. It was somewhere around 2005 was, yeah, I don't know if This Too Shall Pass was 2005. Anyway, the Fold is kind of like just this one dude. His name is Dan Cassidy. Now, and like everybody else in the band, is a revolving door. Even George Cassidy wasn't in there at first. And the first thing they created, according to Wikipedia, was an independently, like, produced album called Feeling Like Failure Now. Now, I've never actually found bootleg videos on YouTube or otherwise any actual like audio of this, any songs off of this album. So I don't know anything about this album. I don't even know if it's actually something that The Fold created, like Dan Cassidy created. Or Castity. Daniel Castity? I might be pronouncing his name wrong. Or someone made a mistake on the Wikipedia page. So I don't know, but they made some album called that. Then he created another album called Not of This World. And as you can tell from the title, a lot of the songs from Not of This World were sort of low energy kind of rock songs that mostly quoted the Bible. I once was trying to do a speaker audio test that my dad was like participating in. I had to choose something to test speakers with, and I actually used one of these songs, and he described it as tin can. Now I don't know what tin can means in the context of music. I haven't heard that term before, but it was obviously pejorative. And dude, parents, if your kids ever play random music, you call it just. I hate that. That just drove a nail through me when he's. But whatever. Me complaining about my dad behind his back on a YouTube video. But anyway, these so-called tin can. I don't know if that description would even be accurate. Songs that mostly quote the Bible, and with some kind of fluffy, sometimes some sort of fluffy lyrics in there. They're not very richly theological, so they're not like hymns, or very particularly poetic. They tend to be somewhat, I don't know, they're just not very theological, but it's Christian. It's overtly Christian music, as you can tell from the title, Not of This World. And on this album are two songs that they would reuse later on some of their more mainstream ones. For example, I Believe You, the first track, and the last track, which I believe is called Revisited. I think Once and For All may be on Not of This World too, or if not, it's on Rarities. Anyway, I know what the audio of this is because somebody on YouTube, I'm not going to say the username anymore. I remember what it is, but I'm not going to say it. Decided to upload copies of this. And I'm not sure what the ethics of that are. Whatever, but that person has since taken them down, so you can't find them anymore. I'm gonna figure out a way to actually get a hold of an actual CD of this, if that's even possible. So I don't know how you could possibly listen to these songs in the modern day I'm recording this, but that was, I don't remember exact date. It was probably around 2003 or so that this came out. That's the first album or set of songs by The Fold that I actually know of and was able to listen to. They later created another set of another album-like thing called the Rarities EP. I actually don't remember what EP stands for, but it's like a short album, which again was overtly Christian music. Again, that kind of a mashup of quotes from the Bible. Not all of them. Some of them had fluffier lyrics, but and it was a little bit more energetic and a little bit more strange. A little bit more experimental than Not of This World. And if Once and For All was on there, then that would have been reused in This Too Shall Pass. However, and I've actually heard some of the songs on Rarities. For example, Luke's song, and then I forgot what the title of the other one was, but the whole No Longer Adam, I've Been Planted as a Seed song, I've heard that one as well. But not every single track that's been on Rarities. And again, I don't know how to actually get a copy of, like, actually buy a copy of the songs. I presume that's somewhere around 2004, roughly. And then they signed on with Tooth and Nail Records, which does kind of vaguely Christian music. But they're not very... As like all record labels, their reputation isn't very good. And published something called Not of This World. I think it was probably around 2005. And this is like the first album that you can actually like listen to on the full topic. And had one of their relatively famous, the Fold as a band isn't really that famous, relatively famous song that they made called Gravity. And Gravity is kind of songs that I would call like vague Christian, where it's like, you know that they were thinking that they were going to make a song about God, but they decided they were like too chicken to. Like they wanted to make it have this more mainstream appeal, even though it was a song about God. And I would like get uncomfortable with these kind of things. It's like you're kind of falling for some sort of, I don't know. I don't know. These things just sort of seem very chicken to me when you like make Christian music, but you try to word it cleverly so that it's not, so that like you might be able to interpret it as not Christian music. It's like being ashamed of the gospel, which is something you're not supposed to do. But anyway, like, so if you were to listen to Gravity, for example, listen to the lyrics. It's obviously about God. It's obviously about conversion. However, nowhere in there in the lyrics do you hear the word God, or the word Jesus, or the word conversion, right? It's like vaguely. It's like, it's like the lyrics go something like, it's just like gravity. What pulls you to me? Someone I didn't know I needed, and you could kind of. There isn't really anybody else that you can be besides God. But if you just kind of look at the chorus by itself, you don't really pay attention to the verses, you can almost interpret it as like a love song of some sort. This is something I hear quite often, is like music could be like a romance, or it could be about God, but it's worded so vaguely, it's hard to tell. Anyway, so the entire album of This Too Shall Pass is kind of this Christian music, but it doesn't ever say God, for example. And again, it doesn't get into any sort of theology. It's like it's theoretically possible, if you didn't know it was Christian music going in there, you could not notice. Maybe. I'm not sure. I would notice right off the bat, but it's kind of that character. It's not really my it's not, I kind of have a hard time with This Too Shall Pass. I'll get kind of bored midway through. It's like a long album with a lot of songs, and it's very, it sounds fresh as far as our ideas are concerned, but there's something kind of like continuously pounding about it that makes you sort of tired. Not personally my favorite. And then somewhere around, I don't know, really, these albums came out like rapid succession. I'm assuming somewhere around 2006 or something. They came out with they had another album called Secrets Keep You Sick. And this one was a lot more, I like this album a whole lot better. It's a lot more creative. It was a lot more energy. And it's just, I don't get fatigued listening to it the same way I get fatigued listening to This Too Shall Pass. So they took a step up a notch on Secrets Keep You Sick. And Secrets Keep You Sick doesn't try to be as vague Christian. It's just a little bit more honest with itself about what it's about. But it is more secular. I don't know if I prefer secular or Christian but not admitting to it. It's kind of, I prefer, like, the one I prefer the most, of course, is Christian but like admitting to it. But I think I prefer kind of like secular to like Christian, but being chicken about it. Anyway, but they do have one vague Christian song as the last track of Secrets Keep You Sick. And the song Closer, which I don't know when they wrote it. They probably wrote it a lot before they decided on making that album. But it happens to be on Secrets Keep You Sick. It's one of their best compositions that they ever made, essentially. Then, I don't know if you remember if it's 2007 or 2009-ish, they came out with get another album, this one independent again, instead of From Tooth and Nail, called Dear Future Come Get Me. And this was another step up. A bit stranger. They got weirder and weirder. They got better, but they got weirder as they went on. Like, got even weirder than, so it's kind of weird album. But as holistically, I like it even better than Secrets Keep. What's that? Secrets Keep You Sick. Yeah, it's the album. This is a weird album title. So, yes, they came out with an even better album called Dear Future, and this was like that. Dear Future is kind of like the Fold's master of puppets. Like, it is their peak. It's where they were at their best. And then around 2012, the year before their rebooted music, and including some tracking they used to create their rebooted music for Ninjago, they came out with an album called, I like to mention that their most famous song is not Ninjago song. It's likely The Never Ender, and that was one of the tracks on Dear Future Come Get Me. Anyway, it's like if you ever heard a song from The Fold that was not from Ninjago, it was probably The Never Ender. Just guessing. So in 2012, they came out with Moving Past, with some good songs on it, like Moving Past and Bye Bye Love and so on. However, Moving Past has sort of this flavor to it it's kind of boring at first. You kind of don't get it until you listen to it like a couple times. And there is sort of a out of ideas kind of feel to it, where the melodies are kind of not as catchy. Fair example of that is Different Kind of Disease, where it's just kind of like, it's just not a very catchy song. But then they use those same tracks, like the drum track for Different Kind of Disease, I think on Eye of the Storm, and Eye of the Storm is a very catchy song. So it's like, The Fold had a capability at the time of making songs like the rebooted songs for Ninjago 2013, because they just made those 1 year later, right? So it's not like they couldn't do that. It's just they didn't, because they decided to have a different artistic direction. And they created kind of this unnecessary staleness. But it's still good. The songs are still good. And then just like a couple weeks ago, or maybe even like 1 week ago, they came out with a new album that they're calling Stereo Fire. I actually listened to all the songs. And I got the same kind of impression as This Too Shall Pass from it, where it was kind of like out of ideas sounding, and some of the melodies weren't really that catchy. Of course, World Gone Mad, there are two big singles from it, like the World Gone Mad and Young and Free, that they already published before they published the whole album, were really good songs. But the rest of the album that they kind of kept keeping hidden is kind of meh. What's it called? World Gone Mad, though, was another one of those vague Christian songs where they're like, in a world gone mad, you are my anchor, you bring me back to earth again. It's like, who's the you? Who's the you they're talking about in that song? Who's you? Right? But But we did actually get to hear them say God for the first time in the lyrics, since they're really early stuff before not of this world, not before this too shall pass, and that their song, they have actually a song. I forget about their songwriting. I think it's like Passion or something, where they actually say we thank God for this passion in the song. So the Fold kind of got back to some vague Christianing and some not vague Christianing. Apparently the passion they're talking about is their passion for songwriting the song. But they came out with a new album in the song, and it's kind of has that kind of stale, a little bit like they're out of ideas kind of flavor, with a couple good songs on it. I decided I wanted to comment on the Fold. Another thing, like the EP I mentioned, something they came out with that they didn't mention is something kind of unique called a Stargazer EP, which I don't know if they copied that idea from, if they did or not, but that's a unique thing that's kind of fun to listen to. And the song Stereo Wave on their newest album, which again I think is called Stereo Fire, the vocal effects on that kind of remind me of the Stargazer EP. It's not like it's the same. It's not like they did the same things again as the Stargazer EP, but it kind of reminds me of their kind of the weirdness they can do sometimes. There's sometimes they kind of throw curveballs at you. I'll probably listen to the album again after I'm done with this recording, just because as I said, just too shall pass. Not just to, I keep basing up the album Moving Past. The album Moving Past from 2012 is one where you have to kind of listen to it a couple times before you appreciate it. It's kind of it's kind of boring the first time, right? So this one might be the same way. So that's that news. Man, I have made no progress at all. I hate this room. I'm starting to really grow to hate this room. When I first played, World's Hardest came through, I got past this room rather quickly. I don't know why it's giving me real trouble right now, but man, it's giving me trouble. Yeah, man, this room is giving me some serious trouble. Because I wonder how many people watch these just to actually be curious about that's because of the World's Hardest Game 3 aspect of them. If you do, I'm sorry. When I finally get out of this room, the game title is going to be I finally got out of D4. It's going to be the title of it. I mean, I theoretically isn't that hard to get out of D4. I could just do this. Done. Just kidding. I could get to the other side with not too bad a difficulty, but I want to get the coins first because I want to get them when I come back through. Right? Really. This room you go through it and you just come back. You don't go back and forth through it. To get the menu up. F1 menu. Yeah, C3 you go through it so many times. I didn't bother getting all the coins the first time I went through it because I would be back at it. Go back through it several times. You still have to go through it 3 more times. So okay, I have some dinner thing I gotta take care of, so I'm gonna pause my encoding and take care of it. Okay. As far as languages are concerned, I'm still working on it. However, I did start recording the Xbox remake of Ever 17, even without learning any Japanese, and just started OCRing it. And this is just really stupid. I don't know why I'm doing that. So I'm trying to learn Japanese at the same time I'm doing that, and maybe by the end of it I'll get some Like, I'll be able to understand some of the lines. I don't know. That's all I can say, though. What is your super long game backlog? I don't know. I have Remember 11 to do. Got probably Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth 2 to do. Maybe Dual Destinies to do. 12 Ribbon to do once I learn Japanese, which I may never do. I have to research Code 18, which I still haven't done. I might have to learn Japanese for that too, depending on if that's localized. I have to finish the Xbox remake of Ever 17. Yeah. Probably AI, the Somnium Files, Nirvana Initiative. I'll probably try it. It might be really stupid though. I mean, the original was kind of stupid. After that, I think I'll probably be done. Oh, there's still a whole bunch of Monaco games I haven't done yet. I have to do emulate. I didn't want to do emulation of Java phone apps. Go to G2 and do the silly spider schmacking game. I mean, it's G2, but because it's Monaco, I should do it. Glaciorian Arena 3, finishing Monaco Heroes, which includes the phone version. Do I want to do a review, do the Monaco Games review episode of Matoran Adventures and Monaco the Game GBA, as well as I think an odds and ends one, the legacy version of Monaco Masters of Power, and then the final version when it comes out. So made updates to rebuild the Lightstone made updates to Rebuilt, LOM Rebuilt. I might want to hold off until the next update cycle because I don't have too many Rebuilt Let's Plays. So I was hesitant to do one in the first place. Was just because it would update and I have to make a new one. But it has updated since I made my first one, so yeah. But not this week. I think that's all I have to say. I haven't done anything in the stream. I haven't gotten a single yellow circle. I'm going to go for another couple minutes, so maybe an attempt to try maybe get a circle or something. But it's very unlikely I'll get any more yellow circles in this entire video. So, yeah. Sure. Fine. Well, this will be 0 progress on room D4, but those are my announcements. If you listen to all that, thank you for listening to it. Goodbye.